Today's video discusses both intimate partner and sexual violence. Please feel free to turn on closed captions. If you are in an emergency, please call 911. In case you have to change the video immediately, please take the time now to read the description. We have provided random links for specific topics so that you can change the subject matter quickly.
Hi, my name is Becca Geiger. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers, and I proudly serve as the Assistant Director of the Gender Equity Center here at Penn State.
What services do you offer to survivors of domestic violence?
Absolutely. So our office works with students who have been impacted by various forms of power-based violence, sexual violence, dating, domestic, intimate partner violence, as well as stalking. We do provide our prevention education programming, but more specifically for individuals, victim survivors who either currently are experiencing dating domestic violence or have previously experienced that. We provide one-on-one services, so we can work with that student, provide crisis intervention and support, working to help process their experiences and provide grounding techniques. We also can assist with safety planning, which is very essential if somebody is currently in an abusive situation and looking to leave that situation, or even isn't ready to leave just yet, making sure we safety plan for them to be as safe as possible while they're in that relationship, and certainly when they plan to leave. We can provide accommodations, academic accommodations, so we want to make sure their ability to participate in the university in their education isn't impacted by what they've experienced. We can also assist with housing changes or temporary housing, as well as providing university no contact orders. We can talk through what a legal process could look like, as well as what a university administrative Title IX office could look like as well. And we can serve as advocates for them throughout that university administrative process if that's something they're looking for. And then they can continue to see us. We can also get them connected with other resources in the area, various organizations to provide support services or other services they may need.
What can a survivor expect when they come to you?
Absolutely. So something I always say is that when I'm working with a student, I am never going to tell them what to do, what the right answer is, because there is no right answer. It's about what's right for them and their situation. So my job when I'm working with a student is really to empower them with the resources, with the information, to make the decision that's best for them and their situation, right? So when they come see me, usually we talk through what our office can provide and provide some information on our confidentiality and limitations there. And then I allow that individual to share as much or as little about what's going on and what their needs are. Depending on what they share, certainly I can help process what they've experienced. I'm a licensed social worker, so I'm able to provide that counseling and being able to process those experiences. But if they don't want to share very much, that's perfectly fine as well. We can just talk through what are your needs in this moment and help create a plan, whether that's getting them connected with other resources, whether that's me sending out accommodations to their professors saying, hey, you know what, I'm working with this student, they're in my office, they are experiencing any number of these things, so I don't necessarily specifically say they're in need of academic flexibility at this time. So really helping them to be able to make up assignments. Maybe they weren't able, their partner prevented them from going to class or taking that exam, so they're able to make up that exam, get those absences excused, that sort of thing. And just really find out what they need from me, and really what their goals are and how I can best help them.
Do you know of any organizations that offer financial assistance to survivors?
Yeah, absolutely. So oftentimes there aren't many just like giving pure financial money. There is, for example, the Allstate Foundation does a lot of great work with the National Network to End Domestic Violence, and so they actually do micro grants to survivors. So I have shared that information with students and help them apply if they need that. And they also provide free financial literacy courses through their Allstate Foundation. I also get them connected with the Financial Literacy Center here on campus, which is a free resource to all students, because that can be extremely helpful, especially if there are issues and concerns in terms of financial economic abuse. Certainly thinking about money or things like that. For example, CenterSafe doesn't necessarily give money to individuals, but I would refer students there if they are looking to pursue legal action, because they have a free legal project, right? So that's going to save somebody money, and also they're going to be working with a lawyer who knows these laws and also is very familiar with the process, with the ins and outs of intimate partner violence. Additionally, CenterSafe operates an emergency shelter as well as transitional housing, so can help that person get alternative housing maybe a little bit cheaper than they would be able to just pursuing a new lease, an apartment on their own. So there's financial assistance in that way. And then the other service we may refer students to is Student Care and Advocacy has some emergency funds for students, so we can look at that if someone needs to get out of a lease or something like that. They're a great resource for Penn State students, no matter if they're in a situation of intimate partner violence or certainly any number of reasons why a student is in need of financial assistance. They can provide that as well.
Sometimes services are aimed at female survivors, since women remain the group that is most affected. Are there any unique services you offer to male survivors, or are your services non-gender specific?
Yeah, absolutely. So you are correct in the sense that certainly oftentimes services are targeted or gendered, just knowing women are a group that are significantly impacted as victim survivors. Our services are not gendered. So actually our office used to be called the Center for Women Students when it was first founded, and we changed that name in 2017 in recognition that all people are impacted by violence. So certainly we see male survivors and we see individuals who identify outside of the binary, so non-binary, gender fluid, trans identifying, all those sorts of things. And so we wanted to be inclusive of all the students that we were seeing. So that's why we changed our name. And whether you're a female identifying student, a male identifying student, non-binary, you're going to receive the same services from me no matter what. So we don't necessarily have any specific gendered groups, other than we do have a peer education group that is specifically gendered, men against violence, just because we know when we think about perpetrators and we look at the identities of people who perpetrate this violence, consistently the majority of those individuals identify as male. So it's very important to have male allies in this work. So we have a peer education group specifically focused on men, male identifying students on this campus, wanting to promote positive masculinity, as well as promoting bystander intervention, consent, healthy relationships, that sort of thing.
What are your policies regarding confidentiality?
Absolutely. So the Gender Equity Center is one of 2 confidential resources on campus, the other being CAPS, Counseling and Psychological Services. So what it means when we say we're confidential is that means I'm not required to share out or report to the university situations involving intimate partner violence, domestic violence, that sort of thing. And every time that I meet with a student, we do sort of an intake for that first time, and I share with them our limitations to confidentiality, because we do have a few. A couple are going to be pretty standard. If you see any sort of counselor or therapist, they're going to let you know. We would have to break confidentiality if an individual threatens to hurt themselves. So bodily harm or committing suicide, or threatens to hurt or kill somebody else. That's something that we are not able to keep in between us. Additionally, we are mandated child abuse reporters. So if we are made aware of a situation of a child under the age of 18 being harmed, whether that be physically, sexually, that sort of thing, we are required to report that to the Pennsylvania Child Line. And we talk through that with students and what to expect, because certainly most students are adults, but occasionally we are seeing students, first-year students, who can be under the age of 18, so you would still be considered a child under the law, so we have that restriction. And then we have to abide by any sort of legal documents, so if we receive a court order or search warrant, we may have to release information and abide by that. And then the final thing that we do have to report out is we are what's referred to as clery compliance officers. So I am required to provide statistics to the university so they can be aware about what crimes are being committed on campus. And in particular, sexual violence, intimate partner violence, and stalking are a clery reporting offense. So if I'm working with a student and they let me know they experienced intimate partner violence and an incident happened on campus, they live in, one of the residence halls, that's something that I am required to report to the clery officer on campus. What that looks like, though, is really just very basic information. I'm not giving out any identifiable information, any names, addresses, that sort of thing. It would be the bare bones, on October 31st, 12 p.m., student experienced domestic violence by known student, or something like that. So that's all I'm going to give. I'm not going to give any other information. I'm not going to say anything else because they don't need any other identifiable information in order to record those statistics, right? So those are my limits to confidentiality. Otherwise, I don't share with anybody who I work with or anything like that when I'm talking about or who I'm working with. The only other person is my director, Yvette Wilson. Since we both see students and also we have a new victim advocate, we kind of all case manage. So just to let them know, oh, I'm working with so-and-so and this is what's happening in case I'm not here, I'm at a meeting or something and that student walks in, we want to make sure that no matter who's here, somebody can see them and work with them, that sort of thing.
What other organizations would you recommend to a survivor, and can you tell us a little about them?
Yeah, absolutely. The first and foremost is Center Safe. They are the local rape crisis and domestic violence nonprofit, and they serve all of Center County, but they do have an office right here downtown, and all of their services are completely free to victim survivors and confidential as well. So that's certainly, they are a huge resource to our students, especially because they operate the local 24-hour hotline. So our office does not have the capacity to be 24 hours, and certainly we know students and individuals may need us outside of the normal 8 to 5 working hours. So they can call that hotline and speak with a trained advocate who's able to work with them, help them process or talk through their options and other things as well. So certainly I always refer that number, especially if a student needs to get a hold of somebody, but I can't guarantee that I'm going to be answering my email at 9 p.m., and they do provide plenty of other services. They can provide free counseling and crisis intervention, and certainly I see students sometimes who, especially if they've been harmed on campus or by somebody on campus, sometimes they say, I don't want to work with anybody at Penn State, which is fine. I'm not going to take offense to that. So I know the perfect people to refer them to because they're going to provide those free resources and they don't have an affiliation with the university. They also, again, they provide that financial literacy and temporary housing. So certainly if someone needs shelter or temporary housing, they can do that. They do have free legal services, and particularly in terms of intimate partner violence, something people may seek, or a legal document, a protection from abuse order. Sometimes we refer to this as a restraining order, and I always refer students to them because they have that free legal project and are able to navigate that and get that for students, or well, for anybody, but the students that I work with. And outside of their organization, certainly I refer to national organizations such as RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, especially students, who are campus students, or you are going home on break. So even thinking about during COVID, when people were learning from their hometowns. They're not in Center County, so RAIN can get them connected with the Center Safe, the organization in their area that can best serve them and meet them. So I refer people to that, and then I refer people to the offices on campus as needed. Maybe they do want to work with somebody in CAPS, so I can get them connected with someone in CAPS who specializes in intimate partner violence or sexual violence, and really work with them there. I can get them connected with student conduct. Maybe they want a university no contact order. So I don't want that legal document, but I want something from the university that says this person can't come up to me, talk to me, interact with me, that makes me feel safer. So we can do that as well. And certainly getting them connected if they want certain things done. That might be talking to them about potentially pursuing something through the Office of Sexual Misconduct, but never telling them what they should do, right? Just letting them know, well, if this is what you want, this might be what to consider, that sort of thing. So I definitely refer out to plenty of my fellow offices here at Penn State.
Are there local resources that survivors can use to seek therapy?
Yes, so Center Safe would be that resource. They, again, provide free counseling and therapy to students, and they also operate some support groups as well. And they have a specific male-identified support group, and then they also have women impacted by domestic intimate partner violence group. And certainly CAPS would be another option for students, and if a student is experiencing intimate partner violence, sexual violence, we're able to, there certainly is a limit to how many CAPS sessions generally you get, but we can work around that with that. Generally we can get an extension for individuals working or who are experiencing those circumstances. So, and they also have support groups as well, and they have a support group specifically for sexual intimate partner violence. And then outside of that, in terms of the area, we do have the Center County mental health crisis line. So certainly maybe students are experiencing other issues as well, or they were already having existing concerns, and now what they've experienced is causing problems, bringing that up again, exacerbating those existing issues. So certainly students can work with them, and there are plenty of therapists in the area. I will refer students to them, or we know of certain therapists who may specialize in certain techniques or with certain things, but certainly those therapists are going to charge, right? So that can be a barrier in terms of money. But if a student expresses that that's what they want, absolutely, I'm happy to help them find that person.
What do you think is most important for survivors to hear from you?
What do I think is most important? I think that what's most important to hear is that it is not your fault. No matter what the situation is, the circumstances, I don't even need to know the specifics to have to say this, right? No one deserves to be harmed by somebody who's supposed to love them and care about them. So that's first and foremost. And then the second piece is that support is here, help is here, right? I understand that there are a variety of reasons why you're in this relationship and why it may not be easy to leave, but I want to be here, and our office is here for you to be able to make sure you are safe while you are in that relationship, and when you are ready to leave, you are safe and able to get out of that relationship. And so you are not alone. we are here, and there are so many other offices on campus here to help you, organizations in the community, and even those people in your life, friends, family members, roommates. They do care about you, and they want to help you as well.
Is there anything else you'd like to include?
So certainly if students are passionate about these issues, so we've been talking a lot about our direct services that we work with students one-on-one, but if you are a person who's passionate about eliminating intimate partner violence, you want to work to promote a positive campus culture, we have various ways for you to get involved. Certainly, the one with the most time commitment is our peer education programs, but you receive training from our office to provide workshops on healthy relationships, communication, boundaries, consent, all that sort of stuff. So those are available to you. But then we also always host various guest speakers, participatory action awareness campaigns. So those are ways for you to get involved as well, by listening to a notable speaker in this field or celebrity talking about their experiences, or making a shirt for the Clothesline Project, or participating in our Men Against Violence walk, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved. And one of the best ways to find out what we have going on, what you can do, you can follow us on social media. We are at Penn, P-E-N, State, S-T-A-T-E, Gen, G-E-N, Beck, E-Q, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So.
And then how can a victim contact your office?
Yeah, anybody, but victim survivors can contact our office a variety of different ways. You are always welcome to walk in. Our normal business hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We're located in Buki 204, so you can just walk in. You don't have to have an appointment, and someone will either try to see you then, or we'll schedule a time to be able to see you. You can always call us. Our phone number is 814-863-2027, or you can email us. Certainly any of the staff members are listed on the website. If you search Gender Equity Center on Penn State's website, will easily come up. But our general email is gender, G-E-N-D-E-R, equity, E-Q-U-I-T-Y, @psu.edu. And certainly you can easily reach out if you want to talk to somebody, or even message us on our social media. Certainly you can DM us. We have our messaging capabilities open for that.